Hello, YouTube and X. It's your main man, BTM here, bringing you back to the BTM Crypto News Network. So thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, happy Monday. So this is Bittensor XTAO. Ladies and gentlemen, XTAO may not be done yet. I know some people are already rolling their eyes like, here we go, another AI altcoin stream. But hear me out. Because XTAO is not just moving off random hopium, this thing has a real story behind it. AI narrative, subnet growth, decentralized infrastructure, and now the kind of capital rotation that starts getting big money's attention. And that's what makes this interesting. Because when crypto hears AI, half the market loses its mind and starts buying everything with a robot on the logo. But XTAO's different. XTAO is tied to Bittensor, a network trying to turn AI compute interface, training, and other digital commodities into a open marketplace. That's way more serious thesis than just AI go up. So today we're talking, is XTAO just another hot AI trade, or is this the one of the few AI crypto plays that still has another leg left? So, is XTAO overheating, or is it just getting started? Please remember, this is not financial advice. This is YouTube. Half of y'all are eating wings and listening to the market analysis. Let's act accordingly. So, let's play a couple of shorts and then we'll get into the analysis. This is Blockchain Crusader. Will Bitcoin crash and final week of March? Will Bittensor price crash? Well, I say Bittensor, but that's crazy. Whatever. Play this quick short real quick. Oh man, I am tripping. Hold on, guys. Sorry all about. I'm like, man, I'm really playing this video. My bad. Let me see. Let me actually show you guys the video. So I mean the short so you can actually hear it. I was like, why is there no noise coming? Let me. All right, let's try it again.
$100 getting back into the 20. Here's the ugly truth about Bittensor XTAO. There is a massive marketing push right now all over social media pushing Bittensor XTAO to be the next Bitcoin, the next greatest, best ever NVIDIA play AI. It's just that garbage. So here's the truth. Bittensor XTAO put in a pretty strong bottom around the 142, which we were looking for in my private community. And now we've climbed back above $300, getting back into the 2025 yearly range. After hitting its main targets around 316 to 363, we still have the 391 and 422 untapped, but Bitcoin has been pulling back and so has Bittensor XTAO. If Bittensor XTAO cannot hold the $300 region, our last line of support here is this 382 around 288. If this is lost, we're coming back to this gold pocket all the way down at 222. Overall, I am very bullish on Bittensor XTAO. I just refuse to buy into the narrative that we're seeing right now with Bittensor XTAO, because guess what? It's the same narrative as Zcash being the next Bitcoin, the next great thing. Yes, Zcash pumped to $700, but where is it at today? How many people got wrecked buying $700 Zcash and then getting dumped on. Here's the ugly truth about Bittensor TAO. There is a massive marketing push right now all over social media, pushing Bittensor TAO to be the next Bitcoin.
Random pumps, TAO was building momentum under the surface. And now the attention is here, and attention is what actually drives the price. But here's the problem. Most people only get interested after that move starts. So I guess the real question is, are you early or are you just reacting? Nobody cared about TAO before, and now everyone's talking about it. But that's how the market works. Bittensor was moving quietly and then suddenly becomes the main narrative. So basically, while people are chasing random pumps, TAO was building momentum under the surface. And now the attention is here, and attention is what actually drives the price. But here's the problem. Most people only get interested after that move starts. So I guess the real question is, are you early or are you just reacting? Nobody cared about TAO before, and now everyone's talking about it. But that's how the market works. Bittensor was moving quietly and then suddenly becomes the main narrative. So basically, while people are chasing random pumps, TAO was building momentum under the surface. And now the attention is here, and attention is what actually drives the price. But here's the problem. Most people only get interested after that move starts. So I guess the real question is, are you early or are you just reacting?
Definitely early, right? And he's right. People are getting crazy with these updates because, like he said in the first video, everyone is like, Bittensor's the next Bitcoin, which it probably is, honestly. But it's the hype, man. These guys get on these hype trains or these hopium and start going crazy with the hopium and the hype train. And the next thing you know, things start getting weird and nobody understands what's happening. Like this guy. If this guy's in it, I'm gonna have to get out of it. I'm just playing. Big shout out to my main man Galaxy though. But let's see. Actually, let's do this one first. See what Galaxy's talking about.
I mean, they're doing it already with Bitcoin and ETH and XRP. So why not do it with Bittensor TAO as well? I mean, look at XRP. When XRP got the first ETF, XRP pumped from 40 cents to $3. Like, oh, XRP is good. Let's go buy it now because it got the ETF. You know, they're doing what we do with the small coins. We wait for bullish confirmation before we buy stuff. I mean, they're doing it already with Bitcoin and ETH.
Yeah, so he's right. It's becoming one of the big players in the market as well already, right? This just freaking started.
And here's what people miss. You're not just buying a token, you're buying access to a growing AI network. When fundamentals and narrative align like this, that's when things move fast. Bittensor.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying too, right? There's a lot going on with Bittensor. Bittensor is not just some one amok fly by your heels project, right? It's actually going to be one of the big movers and shakers going forward. So this is the Bittensor subnets, and it's actually more than I thought would be on the subnets. And I need to do a subnet breakdown video, or at least start talking about some of the subnets, but so many freaking subnets. But let me know what you guys think. Going forward. So here's the core thesis for this afternoon. TAO may not have been done yet because the AI narrative has re-accelerated. Bittensor's eternal economy is growing, and there are more signs of structured capital interest more than people realize. So that is the argument. Now, the bear case is easy. It's already pumped. It's overextended. AI is crowded. Retail is late, which is all fair. But the bull case is stronger than people think because this isn't just TAO by itself. This is the AI narrative coming back, the subnet acting like an ecosystem, which nobody's really doing, right? This whole TAO project structure is something nobody else is doing, right? When you get into those kind of narratives like Bitcoin, right, and Ethereum and XRP, when you get into that, you're the only one doing it kind of thing, that's when things start taking off, right? Dynamic tiles making subnets exposure more investable. Grayscale's already offering trust access, and I picked those up ASAP. Do your own research, and actually, I do think I have one. Recent markets. Let me see. Where is it? Uh, is it? Wait, I think it's here somewhere. Wait, dang it! Oh yeah, here it is. Um, and recent market coverage showing that the money is clearly rotating into AI linked crypto, and it's down because I think I bought mine at 8 something. It was up to 9 something, and now we're back down to 7. So, not financial advice, but definitely buy the dip, right? You want to buy anything. Well, personally, I want to buy anything at the cheapest price, right? It's going to come up. You're going to make more money. There's no reason to buy it at the top, which a lot of people do. That doesn't mean straight line up. It means there's enough here to say this story may not be finished. So price and market reality. Dang it, Stink keeps moving. Let's start with the obvious. Tau has already moved. According to CoinMarketCap, okay. Um, according to the CoinMarketCap, Tau is already around 307 with a 3.3 billion market cap, roughly 10.7 million circulating supply, and a 21 million max supply. That already tells you two things. Number one, this is not a micro cap gamble. Number two, it still has scarcity optics that crypto loves. Now, why people are paying attention again? Because recently reports that Tile surged about 90%. Right. When the numbers come up, everybody FOMOs in, right? You start popping them green candles, and these guys run to it like it's a fire sale or something. They're just trying to figure out where it was. Da, da, da. They already tell you two things. Number one, it's not a micro cap gamble. Number two, it still has scarcity optics that crypto loves. Because recent reports says Tile surged about 90% in March, while Bittender's ecosystem tokens together hit roughly 1.47 billion in combined value. That's not just one coin pumping. That suggests that the market's starting to care about the broader Bittensor economy, not only Tau itself, right? So, as you can see, Tau is in the middle, and subnets is all the projects around, right? So it's kind of like Google and all Google products, like Google Maps, Google Earth, Google emails, and Google Sheets, right? There's a whole lot of revenue streams for Google, which is going to be a whole lot of revenue streams for Tile, right? And that's huge because a lot of altcoins are just one lonely crypt token trying to convince the world it matters. Tile is increasingly being talked about like an ecosystem anchor. That changes the conversation. Would you rather hold Tau or chase smaller Bittenter subnets, type Tau or subnet? And that was something I was looking at too, right? I don't know. I'd probably rather get the Tau, but if the subnets run up like Tau does, right? You pick the right subnet, you might be in business either way. Let me see. I'd rather hold Tau, especially if you new and don't know what you're doing. Because you have to stake to have access to the subnet. Oh, okay. Well, that answers that. I mean, you got to get the town anyway. I thought I read that somewhere. Which subnet's your favorite? I like Astrit Intelligence. And I got my trusty pad here. I'm going to write that down. I was actually looking at what was that? I think it was rods or something. But I got to go back and shoots. Just be safe and hold towel. Shoots. Yeah, you're right. Because the subnets are probably gonna get crazy. Let me see. Where is it? Yeah. I think I was looking at this guy. This Cuzart or whatever this is. Although I wonder if this is his own crypto actually, because there's a Cuzarts and Alpha. I think Alpha Core. Just because I like the name, I ain't even done the research yet. I got to research the actual subnets to figure out what each does because there's quite a few subnets. I want to research it and actually understand what each subnet is doing and how we can apply that, right? I don't want to get one and we're going to figure out later. I don't even know what I picked. So, what Bittensor actually is, now let's explain the normal human language. Bittensor docs describes the network as an open source platform where participants produce digital commodities like compute power, storage space, AI interface, AI training, protein folding. What the freak is protein folding? And even financial market predictions. That is important because it gives Tao a much broader story than just AI chatbot coin. Bittender's basically trying to build an incentive network where people compete and produce useful machine intelligence and related resources, and they get rewarded through the network. Then they have subnets. Bittender says each subnet is an incentive based competition marketplace focused on particular AI related digital commodities with miners producing outputs and validators scoring them. So instead of a one big blob of AI activity, you get specialized micro or mini economies. And while we're talking about that, I have been trying to set up a I guess it's a miner because I was reading you got to set up the miner first and then you can set up the validator. But setting up the validator is a little bit harder than just setting up the miner. So they were like, just set the miner up first. And then once you set the miner up, you could probably do some with that validator. But it's going to take you a little bit to figure the validator part out. So I was like, yeah. So when I tried doing it, man, the freaking miner wasn't at all, or somebody says, at all easy to set up either. I mean, I was taking like a while. I was like, man, hold up. Hold up. Because you got to do it in what is that?
Like 160 to
Do
190, and
in
I'm still accumulating
Linux.
subnets, even to this day.
Oh man. Like Ubuntu Linux, and it's not as straightforward as it could be. Why is this saying 4 hours ago? This ain't the same video. What the freak? But yeah, it was. I was under the impression it was going to be a lot easier, right? And then I had to start playing with directories and finding stuff and going back and forth. So it wasn't as easy as I was expecting it to be. What the freak? How is this video? That's weird.
Like 160 to 190, and I'm
What, they repost a video? How is this 4 hours ago? If this video is, if we've watched this video already, and I don't even remember watching this video. So I don't know what's going on here because that can't be right, right? 4 hours already didn't even watch the video. But this is another link. Just getting some videos set because I got to step away real quick in a minute and we can come back and keep the live
There's
stream
hundreds
going versus ending the stream and
of
having to come
countries
back
out there.
in
Maybe consider moving to
and reset it back up. Let's see here. Just looking at a few things. I'm still wondering how this is 18. I've already seen that. I don't understand what's going on here. Oh wow, a lot of this is just talking about AI without talking about actual Tau. Or maybe it is talking about Tau. Maybe it's just the way that the video stream is set up. Okay. Okay, I got that. And
Global searches for the word
dang
uncertain.
it. I hate when it freaking does it. Just looking through some stuff here. Give me a second, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Okay, I guess we'll keep it moving. That should be enough. Heck, we'll throw this. Yeah, this is a deep dive. That might be something decent. Let me throw that over there for you guys. And we'll get back to it. It never freaking
Hey guys, Uncle Ray.
stops, man. Always takes crazy steps to pause. But back to what we're doing. So where were we? Okay, I'm totally confused now. They were right here somewhere. So instead of one big blob AI activity, you get specialized mini economies. That's why I keep saying that this is not just another AI token. It's more like a network of AI markets under one umbrella. And in crypto, that matters because narratives are cool, but structures are what keeps people interested after the first pump. So, yeah, you got to have something going on for people to stick around. Some AI coins have a website and a dream. Tau has subnets, token mechanics, and people arguing about admissions at 2 a.m. Huh? Um, Dynamic Tau and why it matters. This is where the story gets a lot more interesting. Bittensor docs each subnet now works in its own AMM style liquidity pool, with one reserve holding Tau and the others holding subnets on Alpha token. The Alpha token is bought by staking Tau in the subnet reserve. Tau sits in the center of the subnet economy. This means people get excited about a subnet. Tau can benefit because Tau is the part of how the subnet economy gets capitalized. This is huge in talking points on the streams because a lot of people still think Tau is just one AI token riding hype. But dynamic Tau means the whole system feels more like a networked economy. That's why CoinDesk saying the subnet ecosystem value hit around 1.4 billion matters so much. It means this isn't just one candle on one chart. This is capital spreading into a wider bit tensor structure. And if that broader subnet activity keeps growing, then the argument becomes Tau may still be early relative to its ecosystem. And that is a very strong angle. Do subnets make Tau stronger long term? Yes or no? I need to put that question in the chat. And I do think yes, right? What? Level up. No, get your. I was looking at this commercial. There's a commercial. It's in the commercial for StreamYard. Like, bro, how y'all got commercials on the StreamYard? Now let's talk big money. Because crypto loves to say institutions are coming every 9 minutes, usually with zero evidence, but Tao actually has some evidence. First, Grayscale Bittensor Trust has already exist. Grayscale describes it as one of the early investor vehicles, giving investors exposure to Tao and security from without directly buying and custodying the tokens. Second, the SEC filing says that trust is intended to become the Grayscale Bittensor Trust ETF. If the registration becomes effective and the shares list on the NYSE, New York Stock Exchange, Aura, the filing also says the shares are designed to give investors exposure to Tau and even reference potential inclusion of staking consideration if conditions are met. Third, Grayscale's trust page snapshot showed about 11.9 million AUM. That's not BlackRock level money, but it's absolutely enough for YouTubers stream to say there is already real structured investment wrappers for Tau. That matters because once an asset starts getting wrapped in trust in ETF language, the conversation changes from can retails ape this to can advisor funds and structured allocators access this. And this is how an asset graduates into a different class of discussion. Retail rotates with screenshots, big money rotates with committees and PDFs. So, why is the AI narrative helping Tau specifically? Now, here's the real sauce. Why Tau and not just any random AI token? Bittensor maps better than most AI crypto projects to what the market currently wants to hear. Open AI infrastructure, distributed compute, monetization, digital commodities, specialized markets, and market effects around real AI tasks. Recent market coverage also says the AI category outperformed the broader crypto market after NVIDIA released AI excitement, with Coindesk saying the AI token sector climbed about 4.8% to roughly 14.1 billion in one of March moves. Then you got the narrative that boosts from recent coverage tying Tao's rally to a favorable attention around the Jensen Hong commentary and the broader agentic decentralized AI discussions. CoinDesk specifically linked this week's Bittensor ecosystem surge to Jensen Hong's endorsement angle supporting the rally. Now, I want to be precise. That doesn't mean NVIDIA is secretly becoming the Tau marketing department. It means the marketing is hearing one of the most important names in AI say that makes decentralized AI and distributed models sound less crazy. That's a powerful perception. And in AI, perception plus structure plus momentum, that can travel. So, why Tau may not be fully priced? Let's ask money questions. What if Tau isn't fully priced? Here's why the argument exists. One, the network isn't just a token anymore. It's an ecosystem of subnets and an alpha token with tau at the center. Two, the supply story still matters. Grayscale's research noted Bittensor has a Bitcoin like 21 million cap and said that first halving reduced emissions from roughly 7,200 tau to 3,600 tau. Oh, that's cool. If you already got tau tokens, if one tau token. Anyway, there is visible institutional packaging through Grayscale, including a SEC filing to convert the trust into a ETF wrapper. Crypto capital has clearly been rotating into a AI-linked names like Tau has been one of the biggest beneficiaries. So the bullish argument is not Tau to infinity because AI that's lazy. The better argument is Tau may still have room if the market continues rewarding AI infrastructure, not just AI branding. Everyone loves AI until they have to explain what the token actually does, and Tau at least gives you enough material to survive the conversation. I know that's right, right? They pretty much circle the whole thing for you, right? They don't have you out here looking weird trying to figure out what's really going on. So let's go over to X and see what's going on. Make sure you sign up for the BTM Crypto News Network and stay current on news and events. So this is Bittensor surged 95% in March while much of the internet catches its breath. Key reason: accelerated development of subnets, growing institutional entry into decentralized AI infrastructure. Tau pays for real intelligence generated, not just compilation power. The market's starting to price in the future decentralized AI and is posed to gain more and more ground. Are you riding the decentralized AI rally or still focused solely on meme coins and short term hype? Drop in the comments. Retweet if Tau caught your eye this month. Okay, that's cool. Who was that? I'm going to try that. Why Tau's ecosystem is the place to invest right now. Not financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes. There's a rising tide forming. Most people still underestimate it. It starts with attention. Builders, researchers, and capital allocations are starting to focus on Bittensor because of what's actually being built. Once people take time to look, they see real projects, real products with increasingly real revenue. That attention is slowly translating into capital. We're seeing a steady increase in the percent of Tau being staked into tests or subnets. It's still under 20% of the total supply, but the trend is clear. As more Tau flows into the subnet, the economy layer strengthens and capital becomes more tightly aligned with performance. At the time, the sub of the subnets, SOS, continues to expand, and the cap of 128 subnets means the average price of the subnet in Tau is going up. Next to that comes something even more important: quality, right? People forget quality. There's no quality anymore. There's no quality. That's a joke. The average quality of subnets is improving significantly. Better teams, products, and clearer path to revenue. Weak ideas are filtered out over time while stronger ones compound. That's how the system is built. they combined with yield, the average staking APY of around 40% means investors are not just holding, they are compounding their position while the ecosystem matures. And there's a broader context. AI. A global narrative of AI is getting stronger. Capital is flowing into the sector at an unprecedented pace. But most of the capital is still concentrated in centralized players. Bittensor offers something different, an open, competitive, decentralized marketplace for intelligence. Put it all together, growing attention, increasing capital allocation, rising subnet quality, strong yield dynamics, and one of the strongest narratives in the world, AI. That's what creates the rising tide. And when the tide lifts, it lifts the entire ecosystem. In my view, that's why Bittensor stands out right now. We are early. And shout out to RV Crypto. We're definitely early, guys. So this is Tau breaks out with strong momentum. Resistance flips to support, signaling a sustained uptrend. Bullseye 497 plus 55% with the RSI and MAC turn positive. Watch the key EMA support and trend confirm. So it's actually pretty cool, but I'm not going to go into that article. Grayscale's Q1 2026 top breakdown sectors. Artificial intelligence, 5 sectors. Bittensor, 2.6 billion. Render, 0.9 billion. Kite, 0.4 billion. Grass, 0.2 billion. Asher? Why do I know that name? That name sounds familiar, actually. Let me get my trusty pen here at 1 billion. So we're definitely gonna check out that Akash and maybe Kite. I keep hearing about Kite, but I'm definitely checking out that Akash because I remember that name from somewhere. Smart contract platforms, Tron, Canton Network, Quant, Layer Zero, something, and Monon or something. Financials, Hyperliquid, Sky, Morpho, Just, and Cow. Currencies, the Cared, Xano, Dex, consumer culture. That's a token? That's weird. X Infinity and on Grayscale's methodology, they rank by volatility adjusted returns, not absolute performance. And I'm not reading all that either. But this is on the BTM Crypto News page if you want to read that article as well. This article is from my presentation at Breakout in San Francisco was based. This also addresses a lot of views and subjects I have been engaging you all with in the last week through tweets. I hope you find it helpful. The state of Bittensor and how capitalization and become a household name. Man, I'm not reading all that either. That's actually pretty cool. Did he write the article or he's just telling us about it? But either way, people are slow to come over to Bittensor anyway. Another Bittensor product. Bittensor slowly but surely permeating every sector. While people are trying to compare TAO with other tokens, they don't realize they are comparing the internet with AOL. Different scales, different futures. What is hyperscaled HQ? You trade directly and Hyperliquid with a funded account. You get paid out in USDC, No more public hidden pop rules, everything on chain. As you are here, modern traders, manual traders, automated traders, agents, and anyone can participate. Let's dive in. What's that have to do with Bittensor though? Hyperscale HQ is a Bittensor product? I'm tripping. Am I reading this right? Hyperscale. Does it say anything about Tau though? That's weird. I'm not sure how this ties into Bittensor if this is Hyperliquid, right? This is built with Hyperliquid? I don't know what I'm missing here. HQ. That's weird. Backing over to X. Let's see what we got here. This is U.S. Treasury March 26 reports acknowledgments. Lawful users have valid reason to seek privacy on public blockchains. We're solving this with confidence. MPTs on XRPL regulatory visibility. Where it matters, users' privacy should still be a standard. This must be XRP. This is XRP. I'm tripping. I'm like, man, what does this have to do with? So yeah. Over to CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCap has the market cap at 2.3 trillion, up 1.25%. CNC20 is $137.12, up 0.03. Oh wow. Barely up. Fear and greed, we're back at fear. Altcoin season is 49 out of 100. 47.83 for the average crypto RSI. Moving over to Bittensor. Bittensor is 307, down 2.89%. Market cap is 3.31 billion, down 2.85. Volatility is 457.2 million. Volume, I get volatility from volume is 457.3, up 91.21%. This is TAO's ecosystem gained serious momentum. Bittensor's ecosystem token reached 1.5 billion in total value, fueled by the recent rally, growing support in the decentralized AI. When diving in, strong narrative AI plus crypto, expanded subnet ecosystems, increasing capital inflows, a clear sign that decentralized AI is becoming a major market theme. This is market movers, Bittensor's ecosystem token surge hitting 1.5 billion market cap with subnet tokens up 200%. Bittensor's bearish retest is in progress. It's getting clear now the weekly retest is confirming weakness. We're trading in a bearish territory while the monthly correction remains active. Structure still points lower. No signal of strength. Next move could push down to 85,000, 86,000 or lower. And that's Bitcoin. I thought that was TAO. TAO, attention market, and renders compute economies prove one thing. The fast growing systems are now one of the complete and capital collapse in the same loop. Worm is the only average projection market where the loop turns into real trading. So I need to actually get changed real quick. And then we'll come back. Let's play this guy. Gives you
to a different place. Hey, it's Travis. The price of Bittensor TAO is going down. People are scared. Everybody's jumping ship. Oh my gosh, this whole thing's going to crash to zero. And CBDCs are on the horizon. You know, central bank digital currencies. They're going to come in and they're going to start tracking everybody. And then once CBDCs are in place, then the government can just see all of your transactions and they can actually stop transactions that they don't like, you know, stop you from interacting with various businesses they don't like even. And clearly, like Bittensor is coming coming out with amazing commodities, and various powers that be are not going to be friendly to it, right? So the scenario is like, we've got CBDCs in place, our government tells us where and when we can spend our money. So what if our government comes in and it just turns off the ability to transact, to buy or sell TAO? Now, personally, I love thinking about these sorts of doomsday scenarios. So if you have any, leave them in the comments. So for this particular doomsday scenario, I think there is a little bit of merit. The government can stop you from interacting with cryptocurrencies in general. In China, it is illegal to buy or sell Bitcoin right now. Whereas in other areas of the world, like say South Korea or Portugal, the governments in those areas and many other areas have been actually very friendly towards crypto. So I think it really matters where you are in the world. But I think we could actually learn a lesson from China in this case. So in the early 2020s, China really clamped down on cryptocurrency. And yet we did see a bull market after that. Right. So China is not involved in Bitcoin, at least not legally. And yet, even though they're a major powerhouse in the world, the price of Bitcoin still took off in 2021 and again in 2025. So while I'm sure that the price of Bitcoin is affected by what regulators say in China, the ban of Bitcoin in China hasn't affected Bitcoin's ability to rise in price. And that's just because it's decentralized. And so we've got one country, one large country, China. They've effectively banned trading of Bitcoin, but there's hundreds of countries out there. And what typically happens, especially for richer individuals in the world, is they're going to go and they're going to move their wealth into places that are more friendly, right? You always hear of the Cayman Islands or the UAE as places that are very friendly to, say, business. There's many other countries as well. And so what wealthy people will do when they see the doors closing on them and their wealth is they get up and they move that somewhere else. I don't know if you've been paying attention to what's happened in California lately, but they've lost most of their billionaires now because of this proposed wealth tax. I don't know. Can do is they can immigrate to another country and then use their Bitcoin there. And so if you understand that, basically what happens when you get a more totalitarian or a more authoritarian government in place, like in China or in California, is that the rich people flee, they take their money with them, and they go somewhere that respects their property rights. And so what will happen when CBDCs come in? I think it'll be the same pattern. You're getting a more authoritarian government in place, a more monetarily controlling government that will incentivize rich people to move their money offshore at the very least. Wealthy people understand that governments will sometimes go after their wealth. And so very often they'll get multiple citizenships, multiple residencies or passports, allowing them to choose the one that is preferential, that gives them the best treatment. And so if you're smart and you have a lot of money, you've got a backup plan for when these sorts of things happen, when your government becomes more authoritarian. Anyways, I'm getting off track here. What I wanted to talk about is what's going to happen with Bittensor. I think the main thing to understand is it's still a global decentralized digital currency, very similar in its foundation to Bitcoin. So there will be many countries that put into place CBDCs, and they will incentivize their richest people to move their funds outside of the country by doing that. But you have to remember that it's still a global decentralized cryptocurrency. The thing that Bittensor has going for it that Bitcoin does not is that it produces valuable commodities. And it does this by hosting global competitions called subnets to find out who in the world can produce the commodities the best. Now, some parts of the world are going to have CBDCs that are very controlling and that don't allow you to cash out your alpha as a miner or whatever. Then those countries with CBDCs that are very controlling, it'll be much harder to be a miner in those countries. It's not going to stop the entire world's economy from marching on, right? So yeah, I see this sort of CBDC doomsday scenario as a thing that will certainly happen in many countries across the world, but I don't see it as a risk to Bittensor. I see it as a risk to you and me. So we're the ones who need to be keeping an eye out and then just kind of understanding how much control governments are going to get over us by implementing CBDCs. And then it's up to us as far as whether or not we want to live in a country that doesn't allow us to exchange our labor for money. So yeah, CBDCs, I think, is a big risk for you and me, but not a risk for Bittensor. And so if and when we have these CBDC doomsday scenarios, I think Bittensor will just march on in the same way that Bitcoin marched on in the early 2020s, despite trading Bitcoin being banned in China.
So I don't know what happened at the beginning of that video, if the video was there or not, because it started. But let's talk about Bittensor versus Render as the best investment and a deep dive into the price.
Crypto Bellwether. The goal of this channel is to help people get the alpha they need to make informed decisions. And guys, I'm excited about the opportunity in 2026. So far, my strategy is doing well because I have been talking about us being in the bear market for over 6 months. And I believe that's where we're at. And we are going a lot lower for the average altcoin. And the game has changed. But the more you understand about what you hold, the better you can create a strategy. Now, I used to be a licensed 3 futures and options trader, basically a commodity broker. And guys, cryptos are commodities. They're not stocks. And there are a few that act more like a stock. And that's 2 that we're going to be talking and comparing in this video, Render and Bittensor. Now, I believe in 2026 that altcoins like maybe Render and Bittensor, Zbic, Solana, Ethereum, definitely Canton and Hype, along with Bitcoin, are going to separate themselves because they actually have mass adoption and they make a lot of money to feed their ecosystem and they accrue value for me and you, the token holder. And if altcoin doesn't have that, which 99% don't, they are just speculative assets. Well, you can make a lot of money with those assets, especially buying at the bottom of the bear and selling, taking profits when they pump. But if you don't understand what I'm trying to share with you guys, the odds are you're going to watch your portfolio pump, and maybe it pumps a 3, 5, 7x. And you're like, well, that's no Lambo. And I've been promised, a 50, 100x, which people talk about every day. Well, if that's your thought process, guys, you're probably going to be exit liquidity. So know what you hold. And like I said in this video, we're going to compare Render and Bittensor. Take a look at the charts and hopefully to give you the alpha you need to be informed. Now, before we dive into that, guys, I just want to share something with you. And I say this over and over. But guys, tokenomics and the way an altcoin is set up 100% guarantees kind of the outcome if it pumps. If a project has bad tokenomics, the only guarantee we have is it will not be able to maintain the pump and it will come crashing down. Now, here's something else to think about. And I'm going by probabilities in history that if you want to make life-changing gains in crypto, you need a new hot project in a hot sector in its first cycle, and you need to take those profits. Now, I want to share something with you, and this, we're going to talk about shorting, but whether you want to have an interest in shorting or not is irrelevant. Just understanding what I want to share with you will change your outcome and probably change the way you create a strategy and a portfolio. Now, check this out. This proves what I'm trying to share with everyone. In the last 6 months to a year, no ifs and buts about it, Siren has made life-changing gains for people that were lucky enough to get in early. Now, we have shorted that. We've done short alerts in our inner circle about 7 different times. Look at this chart. Look at this pump. Now, I want to show you something, guys. And again, if you know how to short, that's even better. But here's my point. Let's say you were sitting around in January and you go, you know what? I got 10 grand. I'm going to jump into crypto. And somehow you decided to jump into Siren. Well, guys, if you put in 10 grand in January this year, fast forward to last week, you were a millionaire. Think about that. You don't do that with Dino tokens. You don't do that with old altcoins with all the fake hype. See, they've already made those life-changing gains for people. But look at this. Hear me out. This is why it's so important. So I believe this is last Sunday. Last Sunday, in less than 3 months, you've turned 10K into $1 million. But you didn't take any profits because you believe the hype. You don't understand the tokenomics. You don't understand that Binance is behind this with their free allocation, just like the developers got and everyone that got in early, how they are going to create the liquidity to dump on you. So imagine last Sunday, you're like, Uncle Ray, I'm a millionaire. I put in 10 grand. I'm a millionaire. That's why I got into crypto. Fast forward Monday morning, you don't even have 200K. Fast forward 2 days later, you have somewhere around 150, maybe 175K. So think about that, guys. And the odds are, just like almost all altcoins, they come out hot, they get a massive pump, they make life-changing gains, they die, and another token is created, and the exit liquidity just goes on down the road. Meanwhile, people will be holding that 10K, which is probably going to go all the way back down to say 20 or 30K, and they are going to hope for the next 4 years that they somehow get back to that $1 million. Well, guys, once you understand the game, Siren is never going to change the world. It wasn't set up to change the world. It was set up to make insiders and millionaires more wealthy on the backs of retail not understanding what they hold. And that's 99% of altcoins. And I know I ramble on that all the time. All right. Let's talk about Render compared to Bittensor. A lot of people don't remember, maybe in the last cycle, guys, in 2022, everything was dead, and all the way into like 2023. But AGI-X, I believe, Render, and Injective took off. And Render literally led this bull run for way over a year and made life-changing gains for people, even though it was an older token, and just kept pumping. And I mean, nothing was going up. And it broke a record, not broke a record, but it got into the group of the altcoins that actually make a new all-time high in its second cycle, because 90+% don't do that. All right. So Render has proved itself that it can grow every single cycle, and it's not just hype, and it has real mass adoption. So here's what I believe is important, guys. Obviously, you have to have good tech. Both these projects, great tech. So that's a given. But then you need mass adoption. Well, Render has way more adoption and has proven itself to be tried and true. And I believe that adoption is going to grow. But Bittensor is a lot newer, and it has a really good buzz about it. And it is getting the adoption. And if they can pull off what they're trying to do and become the dominant player, which is not going to be easy, Bittensor could absolutely rip. Now, when it comes to making money, Render makes a lot more money to feed its ecosystem. But again, TAO is growing. But now, outside of that, guys, the most important thing in any tokenomics of any token is, does it accrue value for me and you, the token holder? Well, both of these do. So that's really where the comparison lies, in my opinion. Now, I did a video talking about that TAO basically recycles, kind of like what Link does, their tokens, because a lot of people are going to tell you, oh, TAO has the same tokenomics as Bitcoin. And that's an absolute lie. They're not even close. It actually has about 12 to 13% inflation per year. Yes, they have the same supply, but the tokenomics and the dynamics are set up different. Now, that means, in my opinion, that TAO's tokenomics went from could have been great and amazing to still better than the average altcoin, for whatever that's worth. Now, here's what Grok says about the tokenomics. It says TAO recycling is legitimate, a well-documented feature that makes its tokenomics more adaptive to growth, friendly to the ecosystem. Now, here's the important part. It turns usage, right, adoption, into a delay on scarcity. That's the difference between its tokenomics and Bitcoin's. It is basically delaying the scarcity. So we're probably not going to get the pump that we could have had. Still good, but I think it's something that is very, very important to know. Now, when it comes to Render, they basically have a massive burn, and they are burning around 2 million worth of Render tokens every single month. Now, when I did my deep dive and talking to Grok, I believe that Render is going to be a more steady, lower risk reward. But the upside is not going to be probably where TAO just absolutely explodes, which I believe, because of the speculation and the hype, it could do. But they may not pull it off. They are not the dominant project in that asset class yet. But again, if they pull it off, it could rip. That being said, guys, this is crypto. If you don't take those profits, you're going to become the profits. Now, here's something else we need to compare. For the most part, there are no ETFs being talked about for render, but Bitwise and Grayscale have already filed for the Bittensor ETF, and they already have a powerhouse treasury from that billionaire that I believe has 500 million TAO staked away. And that is the biggest benefit to TAO that I should have mentioned earlier. Like 70% of the TAO tokens are staked. Guys, that's massive. And it's putting out between 11 and 19% on their money. So think about it, guys. Yeah, if you got a couple of thousand, who cares? Still good return, well above anything you're going to get in the S&P for the most part. So a guy that puts in $500 million and he's getting between 11 and 20%, he is not going to unstake that to dump on anyone. So TAO's tokenomics are pretty dang good. And I may have misspoke a little bit in my last video about TAO. So I want to make clear that TAO still has great tokenomics. And when the ETF comes out and the average retail person, especially in America, can go in and start stacking TAO, I think that buzz is going to continue. And we just had the billionaire, and I can't pronounce his name, talking to the CEO of NVIDIA, who said, yes, it's very impressive tech, and we need what they offer. But again, guys, it's a lot of competition. Doesn't mean they can pull it off. But if they do, I think Bittensor can rip. Now, look at this chart, guys. First cycle, life-changing gains for people that got in early. Second cycle, that's what you want to see. Massive adoption. And guys, there's only been about 10 or 15 altcoins in the history of crypto, the 4 million tokens, that have charts that look like that. Because, like I said, not over 90% don't make a new all-time high in their second cycle. And if they didn't make a new all-time high in their second cycle, only one has ever made a new all-time high in its third. So go back and study history before you fall for the hype and the FOMO when people tell you some of these older altcoins are going to make life-changing gains. Here's some alpha. Only there's never been an altcoin in the history of altcoins ever do a 5x above its old all-time high in the last cycle. Think about that, guys. So when someone tells you, oh, my favorite altcoin is going to do what it did like in 2017 or 18, it's not going to happen. And even if it does, I don't put my money in exceptions like that. That's why.
So I think that's a very interesting point. Pretty much once it's already pumped, it ain't going to pump again. Right. And he's right. It ain't going to keep pumping. Once you hit that one major pump, that's pretty much it. Right. It ain't going to run all the way up every bull cycle. Right. The interest won't be there. Maybe people FOMOing in, but it's not going to be a massive FOMO. Right. It's going to be FOMO from people that are already into the token. So it's not going to be like, oh, wow, we're all getting in it. It's going to be kind of what was already there from what I can figure out. But let me know in the comments and we can bring this thing in for a landing. So let's see, where are we? That's weird. So let's see. I don't think we did the bear case. Did we go to the bear case? Yeah, I guess we do the bear case. Bear case now let's trying to get this sized up real quick. Now, let's ask the money question. What if Tau still isn't fully priced? Here's why the argument exists. One, the network isn't just a token anymore; it's an ecosystem of subnets and alpha tokens with the Tau in the center. Two, the supply story still matters. Grayscale's research noted Bittensor has a Bitcoin-like market cap of 21 million and says the first halving reduced emissions from 7,200 Tau to 3,600 Tau. I think we did read this already. Three, there is a visible institution packaging through Grayscale, including an SEC filing to convert the trust into an ETF wrapper. Four, crypto capital has clearly rotated into AI linked names, and Tau has been one of the biggest beneficiaries. So the bullish argument is not Tau to infinity because AI that's lazy. The better argument is Tau may still have room if the market continues rewarding AI infrastructure, not just AI branding. Everyone loves AI until they have to explain what the token actually does. Tau at least gives you enough material to survive the conversation. Now, let's do the uncomfortable part. Why Tau could get smoked from here. Number one, it already ran hard. A 90% month is exactly the kind of move that attracts profit taking. Number two, when a narrative gets crowded, the market starts treating good projects and nonsense projects the same until the reversal comes. Three, if grayscale and institutional wrappers exist, that doesn't mean giants inflow happens tomorrow. Number four, the subnet ecosystem can amplify upside, but it can also amplify speculation and volatility. And number five is alive. Tau is still an altcoin. If Bitcoin or broader risk sentiment breaks down, Tau can absolutely get dragged with the market. So no, it's not just me telling you Tau cannot pull back. It absolutely can. But Tau may not be done yet, but it also may not be done shaking people out either. So here's my final take. Tau may not be done yet, but because I need thumbnail, not because I need a thumbnail, not because AI is a magic word, not because everyone on crypto Twitter changed their profile picture to a robot, but because this setup has real pieces behind it. A functioning decentralized AI marketplace narrative, subnet economies with Tau at the center, recent ecosystem growth value, hard capped supply, plus having scarcity optics and clearer big money access points more than AI crypto projects ever get. That doesn't make it risk free, it makes it interesting. And in crypto, the assets that stay interesting the longest usually get the most chances. So the question for the audience is simple. Was this the big run or just the first wave of bigger AI rotation? Drop your answer in the comment. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the stream. Subscribe if you want real breakdowns without fake guru nonsense. And I'll see you in the next one. It's your main man BTM signing out. Just remember, let's get back to the money, guys, and stay dangerous. Tau isn't just writing the AI narrative, it's building the toll road. Half of the market buys altcoins. Very few explain the subnet without sweating. But thanks for joining. And as always, it's your main man BTM signing out. Miners out. And stay up. We'll be doing a Zebek stream sometime later this evening. Peace out.